Welcome to War of the Weirds, a war between friends where the stranger to discovery, the greater chance of victory. Last time, Broomy struck first with the tale of Gallagher 2, a watermelon-smashing comedian's lawsuit against his brother's fraudulent watermelon-based violence. Mystic shrugged off the attack and fired back with the tale of Pepsi's Navy, how a carbonated beverage company amassed a large amount of military artillery. But in the end, special guest arbiter of the bazaar, the real Nicky, made the decision that Mystic emerged victorious. But alas, the war must continue on. For this week's special episode, Bite-Sized Battles. Murky Dark Turgid Stew Edition.
Welcome to War of the Weirds. I'm Mystic.
And I'm Broomy.
And I don't know what I'm doing because I'm improvising this intro.
You did fine. You did
Thanks.
swell. Never
Thanks.
do that again, but you did fine.
I stepped on some toes there, but
Yeah.
stole the show. I'm just trying to make it more about me because I'm the only one that matters in my life. So
Yeah.
I want the podcast.
That's what I've always thought about you.
I want the podcast to be a reflection of my brain, So today, in all honesty, Broomy really probably has like an intro prepared and like at least like outlined, if not written. Although I think he's pretty good at like ad-libbing. And I just took the chance, just swept the rug out from under him. I don't know if that's the phrase. That doesn't even make sense. Sweep the rug out. Are you sweeping it or like pulling the rug?
I think it's
verb
pulling
sweeping?
is the phrase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sweeping the rug is just a good practice if you want a clean rug, but
True.
Pulling the rug out from under you, you're gonna fall. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, so I'm just pulling the rug out from under him so he falls, and it's bad.
Yeah, I never write the intro that I say now.
Oh, well, now good thing, because you would have been wasted time. Or, you very well could just, like, humor me, and then, like, when you go to produce this, just, like, cut this out and put in your own intro. But,
yeah.
Anyways, who knows if this will make it out or not. But today's episode is different. It's a new thing we're doing.
True.
But it's going to be fun. And so we have in our research for regular topics, we come up with, like, sometimes we'll find adjacent stories or related things, and we've put those into collateral damage episodes, just where, like, here's another interesting thing, but it's not enough to be a standalone episode, and it's close enough to not, like, also be a standalone episode because it's so similar to the other thing, or it might not be, like, interesting enough. But another thing that we've run into is sometimes we've, like, in keeping a list or compiling potential topics, we'll find things that are just, like, too short to be anything. And so we both have a couple of I want to say, like, what's the metaphor, like something in the barrel, bullets in the barrel? That doesn't sound right. Fish in the barrel? Yeah.
I don't know what
Monkeys.
you're trying to say.
Like,
You're
we have something in the barrel. No,
What?
like we have stuff in the barrel, like we have stuff loaded and ready to go.
Oh, I see. In the barrel of a gun.
Right, right. Yeah. Anyway, so whatever that phrase is, but they're not enough to really be on its own episode. So what we decided to do is come out with bite-sized battles, where we each bring up. Those are sound effects, professionally done. We each present topics that are not long enough to be a full episode, not directly related to being a collateral damage episode, but still interesting things that we want to share. So we've each, for today's episode, prepared 3 things. The number may vary. Who knows? Maybe we'll do 5 at some point. Not today. We're doing
You're
3
fucking
each.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's always going to be 3.
It's
Are you
it's
insane?
going to be the exact
5?
same thing. I just can't. This is not Groundhog Day. We're not repeating everything over and over and over and over again.
Oh.
The over and over was kind of like a play on words there, saying over and over and over again. But whatever. It's
You nailed it.
It's nuanced. My humor is pretty deep, complex.
Yeah. I do have trouble keeping up.
Yeah.
But,
it's also because I'm ADHD, and I can't really keep up with my own brain half the time. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm PhD.
Oh, Dr. Broomy, congrats.
No, I'm pretty pretty hot, dude.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't think of anything to say. I didn't want to say that, but I had to say something.
Yeah. I would have believed it. If you had just said that, I'd be like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So you had something you wanted to bring up before we got into our topics?
Yeah, we don't, we've kind of debated back and forth about how personal to make this podcast and how much, whether it's just gonna be like content related or what. And we're just saying F it. And I'm telling you right now that I got my eyeballs lasered so I can see real good right now because I had real bad vision.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got somebody to shoot lasers into your eyes.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
It was very weird. It only took they said it was like between 15 minutes ish, between like 15 and 20, and I was on Valium, but it really felt like 5 minutes or less. Like it was, and that's like the whole procedure. Like you go in there and like you have to go through another exam and then wait for the medicine to kick in and all that stuff. But by the time you like get in the chair and they do this little suction cup thing to your eye, so it's the laser can focus on it and you don't blink and look away. And they do both eyes. They do like a laser perforation thing to peel back the flap, and then they do the laser to correct the vision, and then they fold the flap back down, and then he like painted. It was like doing nail polish, like clear nail polish over my eyeball to like.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
if it was
seems
like
dangerous.
A type of
He should
glue or
use
something.
better equipment than nail polish.
He's working out of his van, so
we're
just whatever you add.
As long as you got a deal.
Yeah, I did. It was on Groupon. I have good vision now, and I'm excited about that. It was very weird because you have to stare into the laser, and it smells like burnt hair, and it sounds like a taser. It's like crackling.
Yeah, nothing about it feels natural.
Yeah.
No, that's a nightmare. And I would never do it. I also have glasses. I don't like contacts. I don't like the idea of putting contacts in. So to then have lasers be shot in my eye and expect myself to not fuck it up.
Yeah. You don't think about it in the thing. Like the Valium, you're just like very relaxed and you're like, all right. And they like I said, they like hold your eyeball, which is scary. So like it doesn't move. And the lady told me, it's like the doctor, like one time, and he's been doing this for like 30 years. Like one time someone like had to sneeze or something like that. And then like they just like the laser just automatically cuts off if you break eye contact, like if you look away, like there's a camera on it. And it's like, and it takes so much, like, it's not like the laser is like slicing through immediately. Like it takes a long time for it to like slice through. And so even if you look away, it just like you have like very surface level, superficial little like beginnings of cuts, and then they'll heal up like within a day. So, yeah, it was scary. It was good though. I was talking to people about it, and I would do it again. Like, I would do it
for fun.
Yeah. For like if this only lasted 6 months, I would do it again. Like for 6 months, like 6 months of vision. Like that's how blown away. I was in glasses since elementary school, and then I did contacts for a while, and then I kind of did like rotated back and forth because I just got tired of contacts. Like your eyes dry out and all that stuff, and you have to like if I go anywhere like for a day hike or something, I have to take like extra contacts, a contact case, solution. Like it's just like I hated that, and I'm enjoying it. I miss wearing glasses. I need to get like some blue light filtering lenses just for no prescription so I can stare at the computer screens.
Yeah. Those special glasses for real cool dudes.
That's what even my prescription glasses have been, blue light filtering. Anyways, so yeah, have my eyeballs lasered. Basically like a cyborg now, so cybernetics and
I don't think you're like a cyborg
artificial.
If you get shot with a laser.
I think you agree to disagree. I think this is a controversial topic. It's going to divide our audience pretty hard, so maybe just to not even get into it.
Okay.
So you can divide them with a laser, you know?
Why don't I do my topic then?
Do your topic. One. Yeah. Sounds good.
So do you know what, my topic is basically, do you know what Poe's law is?
I know what Cole's law is. Diced up cabbage and mayonnaise and.
I like that. I like what you did.
Yeah, I did not come up with that. I cannot take credit for that.
All right.
Yeah, I actually think I saw it. I think I saw it on a Tinder venture blog where they post screenshots of weird Tinder conversations. Someone has been like, "Do you know what Murphy's law is?" And the person was like, "Yeah, it's blah blah blah." He's like, "Do you know what Cole's law is?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, "Oh, it's cabbage diced up and blah blah." Anyways, so Poe's law.
Yeah.
No.
Poe's law is an idea. Well, it's just true about the internet that without a clear indicator of someone's intent, it's impossible to create a parody of an extreme view or anything like that is so obviously exaggerated that it couldn't be mistaken by some people for a sincere thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Almost. One more time?
If you're pretending to be I don't know, if you're pretending to be a racist, in the most ridiculous, ludicrous,
right? To poke fun or satirize actual racists.
Yeah, if there's no very, very obvious emoticons or /s to indicate sarcasm or whatever, there's going to be some people that believe it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
To be true, because it's hard to tell tone.
Yeah, and also some people have very even though you're exaggerating the belief or opinion about whatever it is, some people have very odd and strong opinions that sometimes I see sincere opinions and think they're jokes, and then I see jokes and think they're real.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is
they
crazy.
Refer to that as Poe's law, right?
So Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe,
the king of satire and humor.
It was just some guy that commented. Literally, it's just this guy had an opinion on a message board once, and they're like, "Okay, that guy's last name is Poe. Poe's law."
Oh, but nice.
So
that's a very lame legacy. I mean, for that to be the story. It's a cool law. It's a cool thing to be named after you. But for that to be the story of how it came about, it was just well, here it is. So we'll just call it this.
Yeah. Well, so a couple weeks ago, Kanye West announced that he was going to run for president.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have to go into pretty much anything about that. But other than it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Other than that, and I'm not a fan of the idea of that ever happening.
I am not a fan of this either, and we don't have to get into stuff, but I am very close to some people that think it's a great idea. That took me by surprise. And then some of them, their defense was well, it's better than either of the alternatives, and I was like, all right, well.
No, one of the alternatives is better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, he seems actually mentally unwell.
As things have been developing lately.
And apparently by now, actually, he's kind of dropped out because he said he's going to focus on the music or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not an official "I've dropped out" thing, but that's what he said.
Is that just kind of he's protecting himself for when he doesn't win? He's well, I wasn't really focused on that anyways. It's a protect his ego.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
Okay.
The thing I wanted to talk about though is Paris Hilton tweeted out that she was running for president.
Oh. Oh.
But it was a joke.
Uh-huh. Was it?
But yeah, I believe it was.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her.
But it was. But I saw it. I saw that tweet, and my heart sank. Because I didn't see the joke. Like, I didn't see that it was for sure a joke.
Yeah.
And my second thought was, oh, this might be a joke.
Right.
And then I went to a Twitter feed, and I'm like, I don't know, she's retweeting people saying semi-funny things, but also could just be support. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know if this is real or not, and I Googled it later. And it turned out it was just a joke because Kanye ran or whatever, said he was going to run. So later that day or the next day. What?
There is a precedent, that's a play on words, like president and precedent. Anyways, for reality TV stars becoming elected officials. So
yeah.
If she had said that, like, it's not that far-fetched.
No.
I mean, not saying that she would win.
We're living in crazy world.
Yeah, anything,
we're living
really
in
anything
bizarro, insano land.
Yeah.
So when you say something, I don't know, fairly flatly,
yeah,
that you're going to run for president right after Kanye West announced he's running for president.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, that is fucking wild.
Yeah.
That he did that.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's such an exaggeration that you would do that, Paris Hilton? I don't doubt somebody in her position would do that. So
yeah.
Just that, that's all I wanted. That's my first topic. That's that's my whole thing.
There's definitely there's a lot that could be said about this, and I'm trying to tread lightly here, because I'm not one to get too political on this medium.
Yeah,
but yeah, the world is crazy enough that, like, I mean, it was fun. It was fun when people are like, oh, town elects little, like, famous cat to be their mayor. Like, that's fun, Or, like, the train has, like, an honorary conductor because the cat just, like, lays in the train car.
Yeah, honorary. That's
right.
good.
And
if you start giving the cat, like, briefings, I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, and then, exactly. So there's, like, it's cute when that happens, but, like, we're getting a little out of hand here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying you wish that Kanye was a cat?
I love cats, so I do not wish that.
Well, why wouldn't you wish that? Wouldn't you wish that?
Because
if Kanye was a cat, he couldn't speak.
That's true, but I don't want. I feel like he would he would tarnish people's already bad impression of cats even more.
I'm just picturing a cat, like a cute kitty cat, just interrupting Taylor Swift.
A little Kanye West.
That was me trying to say, I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish, but
anyway.
Yeah.
That's
funny that we'll get to cats. I'm gonna talk about cats for my topic later. One of my topics, but not yet. Yeah, that was it's Poe's Law. Paris Hilton. I heard she got disowned by her dad. She's no longer, like, the heiress because of all her sex tape stuff.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. I know that she is, like, she and Nicole Richie aren't, like, as dumb as people portray them, or they portrayed themselves in their reality show back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was aware of that when I was like, is this a joke or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
So my first topic is very short. Very, very short. And that's kind of like, some of these topics that I've, like, have in my bank, or in my, I was gonna say repertoire, but that doesn't work. They're pretty much like the headline is, like, all there is to say about it. But this one, so in London, in the early 2000 teens, Leon Bullings, who owns a florist shop, was mugged by, quote, heroin addict and lifelong criminal. His name is Mickey Stabber Malloy. His nickname is Stabber. What a nickname.
I do not want to be mugged by him.
Yeah. So Stabber held Bullings at knife point. I guess that's how he got his nickname. He took his phone and fled. At 4 a.m. the next morning, Bullings' phone rang, and guess who it was?
Bullings?
It was Bullings' phone. Stabber was calling from Bullings' phone. So Bullings, his landline rang.
I see. I was going to say, it's his phone, I don't know what's ringing.
No, his landline, because back in 2000 teens, people had landlines. Our younger listeners might not know what this is. I just want to take a second here, and I hear like a lot of people and like comedians and stuff give grief to younger generations for like not knowing what stuff is. Like that's not their fault. It's not their fault that like 8 tracks aren't around and they don't know what that is, you know? So I'm not trying to give grief. I just think it's so funny and bizarre and like a little bit horrifying that the rate of progress is happening so fast that like landlines are not, people don't know what that is.
A friend of mine, a younger friend of mine, didn't know who Gary Busey was. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Gary Busey is?
Well, yeah.
But he's not relevant.
No, he's
not. Not at all. Yeah. But I don't know. I thought he was a cultural figure enough that it would be recognizable. But alas, that wild man did not stick in this person's head.
I only know who he is from like how he's perceived for like I don't know what he did to become famous originally.
He's an
actor.
actor.
I just know he is crazy, and like that's a thing.
He's an actor, and into his career, at one point he was riding a motorcycle. He got in a motorcycle crash, and he cracked his head open, and then he changed.
Oh wow! Yeah, I had no idea. I just thought he was like some eccentric. Huh.
Well, he is some eccentric.
Yeah. I never knew anything other like before that. BC before Crash.
Yeah.
But yeah, BMC. So I'm not throwing off on people not knowing what landlines are. I'm just like it just blows my mind.
Yeah. I was gonna say
also you suck if you don't know what a landline is. But anyways, sorry, what?
I was just gonna say that I don't ever blame someone for not knowing.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
If I do, it's more that like I'm kind of like shocked. I didn't know that people didn't know a thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
What? You don't know that? And it's not to guilt them. It's like,
no, it's like,
I don't understand.
It's like, is this showing my age now?
Yeah. No, I'm very old.
Totally.
I'm going to die.
Yeah,
soon.
It's like it's the exasperation where like the weight of mortality hits you.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. Anyways, back to Stabber. On a lighter note, surprisingly, Stabber apologized to Bullings, and they talked for a while and agreed to meet up. They ended up falling in love, and in 2014, when gay marriage was legalized, they got married. So the headline was called "I Married My Mugger." Yeah. It's
I don't know. I appreciate it. Like, I think that's cool that he forgave him. Yeah. I think that's very cool of him. Yeah. I wouldn't ever do that.
Oh, exactly. I would have agreed to meet up. If I did, like, the police would be there. I would like bring like my strongest friends and So the picture of them, Leon, he's just like this like super nice smiley guy with like a sweater on, and then Stabber, he's got like, you know, not making any judgments as someone with piercings and stuff, not making any judgments, but he's got like face tattoos and, you know, just that vibe that comes along with that. And so, so Leon Bulling said that when he stole my heart, or when he stole my phone, he stole my heart. Yeah, which a little bit more touching. Stabber says that he thinks, he said he's turned to crime at a very early age. Although like he grew up in like a middle class like household, and like he wasn't, you know, it was not like it was like a product of his environment so much. Like nothing systematic really happened.
Yeah, just someday something popped into his head and like, I have to stab.
Well, yeah, he said that his life of violence and drugs had come as him like not accepting his own sexuality, and so he acted out, and because he couldn't accept himself. And then after talking to Leon and you know, someone who was like openly gay, he kind of came to terms with who he was, and he chilled out some.
I don't know about that though.
I'm just saying that's what he said. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
Because there's a lot of gay people that don't turn to crime.
Exactly. So, like, on one hand, it's really easy to be like, or, you know, it's like, it seems nice to be like, oh, or like, that's so sad and sympathetic to this and stuff. But on the other hand, all, like, the rest of, like, almost every other gay person who's like, well, I didn't do anything like that, so what? Why are we celebrating this? Like, yeah, it's sad that he didn't feel like he could accept himself, but that's like also not an excuse for violence.
Yeah, it's not
like
an excuse
you have to be accountable.
At all.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. So, anyways, that's now they're I mean, there's nothing about them breaking up now, so I guess 6 years going strong.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. By the way, if like I did meet up and we were like flirting, and he's like, "Oh, my nickname's Stabby," I'd be like, "Okay, no."
Yeah.
Later.
Any chance you had? Nope. Like, you were cute, but that's not.
But that's bad that you have that nickname.
Oh yeah, like.
Not only did you mug me, but you have a reputation for the
stabbing.
Idea of stabbing.
Yeah,
so,
like you mug me with a knife, and your name is Stabber, which means I very easily could have been stabbed. Like I'm an outlier that I did not get stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not living up to your name.
Yeah. When this episode goes live, I'll put the photo of them in the Discord. It's very fun. It's very cute. We have a Discord, by the way, friends. The link to it is in our Twitter bio, has our link tree information. And so you can join our Discord and see, sometimes we post things. Like I have something to post. Actually, I have something to post today, because I said when the episode that we just published goes live, I will post something that I reference.
Also, Linktree, just so people knows, it's just a thing that brings you to a Linktree, quote unquote, which is just a website that just has all of our links on it.
Right. Because like Twitter gives you one option to post it, like a link or URL, and so you can click, instead of having to like it be impossible to put our Spotify link, our Apple link, our Google link, our we don't have an Instagram, our all that stuff. We create a link tree, so you can click on that, and it'll show links to all of our social media and listening platforms. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it before you. Did that.
Yeah, you're a cool kid. You're in the know now.
Oh yeah. I thought I was a cool kid for not knowing before. I was like, what?
No, because remember how it's stupid when people don't know stuff?
I mean,
no.
Genuinely, that's generally true, right?
That's true.
If you don't know anything, you're stupid.
Right. But then there's like a hipster thing, or like a before, or like, I don't know, like people like, oh yeah, I don't watch TV, I don't know who this person is. And they're like, oh, you think you're cool? That's the opposite of knowing stuff.
Yeah, you're not in the know.
Yeah. Like
me, a true cool kid.
Correct.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fun story. I got a story. It's barely a story, but I do have something on it here.
Okay.
So, a man in in Washington, Dayton, Washington. He was a minister.
He was Dayton, Washington?
Yeah.
I didn't know Washington was gay or bi.
Well, he was, and
Wow.
maybe don't make assumptions.
Yeah. So when he was crossing the Delaware, is that like like metaphor for him?
That's a sexual move. Yes.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Want to cross the Delaware later?
Oh, we'll post a video of that in the Discord.
I mean, in the not safe for work.
Yeah,
channel.
We have an 18 and up channel.
Yeah, just for George Washington pornography.
Right. It's a bigger subsection of the internet than you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rule 34,
channel.
Rule 34 of the internet.
Yeah, but he's a former minister.
Mm-hmm.
This man is named Robert Shields.
Okay.
Former minister, and he was a high school English teacher.
A high school what teacher?
English. He taught
okay.
English.
Okay.
And in 1975, he started to keep a diary. And this is like, midlife-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the diary that he was keeping is that he was chronicling every 5 minutes of his life.
Oh.
And he did this until 1997.
When did he start?
1975.
Wow. He is imprisoned in his own life.
A dark take on it, but yes. So he started doing this, and he just it just became a way of life for him. He would kind of hole up in an office for 4 hours every day and write that day's entry. So yeah.
You said every 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
What? There's no time for anything to happen. You're just like, I'm writing in my diary. 5 minutes later, I just finished writing my diary, and now I'm starting to write my diary again. Like, what?
No, I just told you 4 hours.
You said 4 hours, but like, did he just like he broke
At
everything
once.
down? Oh,
yeah.
He would write down. He'd spend 4 hours writing down everything that happened, like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So he gave the diary to after he was done in 1997. He had a stroke, and that disabled him. He was unable to write the diary.
All right, I was gonna say, like, how did he know it was complete when you're like he was done? But okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And he gave the diary to Washington State University in 91 boxes.
Wow.
In 1999. But he would only give them it if it would not be read or subjected to official word count for 50 years.
Okay.
But, which is like, I don't know, get over yourself.
Yeah.
He's an old man now.
Maybe it's like embarrassed.
It is. I imagine it is.
But then again, like, why would you just like not wait until you're dead and like leave that somewhere?
Yeah. Or just wait 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the estimate is 37.5 million words.
Wow.
And it's the longest, one of the longest diaries. I don't know if it's I think it is the longest, but yeah. I have an excerpt.
Read the whole thing. Oh.
I think this is one of the first pages. Hold on.
Okay.
God damn it. Windows has a Photos app, and it fucking takes 8 years to load.
Yeah, it takes so long to open.
It's fucking insane. It's
Windows
like, I don't know.
do better.
It's built into your computer system.
I know, like you have to use it.
Default thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Zoom in. How do I zoom in? This is harder than the old one.
Yeah, it's not user friendly at all.
Oh my God,
there's actually
fucking
a ton...
murder Bill Gates. I'm going to kill him.
There is a very big following on the internet of like whatever was used previously to like Windows Media, like whatever Windows Photos, blah blah blah, and people are like, bring back this from like the Windows 2007 update because this was the best photo app and editing app that existed, and now it's like nothing.
All right, I'm opening GIMP, which is like Photoshop.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, I couldn't find the zoom in button.
Yeah, it's Windows is, yeah. It's so, it could, yeah. How do they miss the mark so much?
I don't know. Because they don't, it's like, it's good enough.
Like, people are gonna buy our stuff. We don't have to put much effort into the other parts of it because people are just gonna buy it for the operating system.
There's nothing wrong with the operating system itself. It's just for me, it's just the photo.
Yeah,
the Photos app is real rough. Anyway, so here's just some of the diary.
Okay.
12:55 to 1:20. I typed the diary from 8:30 in the evening of Sunday, December 10th, 1995, to and through midnight of December 10th of 1995, and mounted Tri-City Herald article. 1:20 to 1:35. I was abed. Is that a word? Abed?
Abed. That's like an old-timey thing.
Soup. I mean, I haven't heard it.
Is he writing in like the style of like Shakespeare?
Not generally. I did not get to sleep. But hold on. Let me go down because there's some goodness here. Mm-hmm. There's some real goodness. Okay, 3:35 to 4. I read the Walla Walla Union Bulletin as soon as I took time off to piss. I ran to the study bathroom, read the Union Bulletin there, while I pooped a horrid number 4 of murky dark turgid stew.
So he went to piss, and then was like, oh, surprise, got some more.
It was a full-blown flux.
A number 4.
Just...
So, how do you... All right. It's kind of funny that he did include all the stuff like this.
I mean, he's actually...
And spoke about things in such a, like, unofficial way. Like, it seems, like, officially written, but then he uses words like that, or talks about stuff like that.
Well, he's just old-timey. He's actually old-timey. So, like, he's from old times, so he talks like it.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, scrolling down. 9:25 to 9:35. I prepared 10 ounces of condensed Campbell tomato soup. 9:35 to 9:40. I pissed again. I emptied and rinsed out the chartreuse plastic urinal. What? You have a urinal?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he's at work. I might have missed that point.
Well, he said he like when he took a break, right, and went to piss.
Oh yeah, he must be at teaching or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I washed the soap, saucepan, and kitchen utensils. Here's another one later that night, 10:50 to 11. I purged a number 2 of normal consistency in short rope-like fragments.
Well, all right. I'm glad that he's designating
page.
So much time to,
Oh, God. No, that's not even later that night. Yeah. I mean, he is detailing a bunch of stuff. It's all very boring. Yeah. There's a reason people don't write it in diaries.
Yeah. Most people write like their memorable things or like express their feelings.
Yes.
He's just like literally every detail.
And his take on it also was like maybe there will be something to gain from all of this writing about my life or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but maybe there is. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the topic. I was just thinking, though, it's like he was sort of live tweeting his whole life.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, though, is nobody else was doing anything quite like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just, I was just thinking of how everybody all the time is, is recording themselves and putting themselves out there.
Right.
Type thing.
And similarly, nobody cares.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's just like every thought is written down. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty wild. So that reminds me of two things. One, I know I've mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not. But in high school, we had to read like an excerpt from somebody's diary from like way back when, like I think like Victorian era, and so back in the day, it was very common for people to like sleep for 4 to 5 hours, wake up for 2 hours in the middle of the night, and then sleep for another like 4 hours. That was a pretty common occurrence. And so the guy whose diary we read, he'd be like, I slept from whatever, I woke up at midnight, I did my dance, had some warm milk, and blah blah blah. But like throughout the whole diary, he'd be like, I did my dance, and we're like, what does this mean? Why does he say this so much? What is his dance? And like no one ever explained that. But like, how is that something recurring? So that's part of the curriculum for the course. It recurs so often through the diary, and nobody really knows what that means or why that's a thing. It's just pretty odd to me. And it's just like that's something that's burned in my brain.
Did my dance, and what does he do?
He's just like I don't know. He's just like, I did my dance, and then I did this, and I went here. I came home from work, I did my dance, and blah blah blah. But like multiple times throughout the day.
Maybe that's just his way of saying like, I do what I do.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I wonder if it's just like, just kind of like did my own thing, or like I did what like my duties, like what I had to do, or like I, kind of just like did my dance, like just did the things that are expected of me, kind of like a puppet on the strings in society. I don't know. That's kind of, it's a little darker. This story also reminds me of, I had to pull this up because I didn't want to get it wrong. Her name is Marion Stokes, and she died in 2012. From 30 years up until her death in 2012, she recorded the news 24 hours a day. She constantly had, like, she would change in and out the tapes as they were, as they would like expire, and she always had like someone doing that if she wasn't there, but she mostly just stayed home and did it. She, anyway, so she did this for more than 30 years. She accumulated more than 70,000 tapes of footage.
Wow.
And this article says it includes everything from the 1979 Iranian hostage crisis to the 1986 Challenger shuttle disaster to 9/11 to the Sandy Hook massacre. Like she, it's like a huge deal because, as we know, history is, the truth is sometimes altered or distorted, or certain things are emphasized throughout history, like as you look back in history. And so this is very important because it has things as they were reported at the time and not just someone saying this is what happened. And like the news never says if she did this because like some sort of compulsion, or if she just like wanted to have an accurate record of the news or what. And then I just think about like how how crippling of a compulsion that would be for either that or to have to write down every like detail of my day in a diary.
Yeah.
I had a friend that did that. I had a friend that she actually, I think she went to therapy for it because she was like had a compulsion to write everything down, and she became like, she would write multiple journals like a week, like filling them up with like so many like extraneous details and stuff, and she had to break that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she did?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't as detailed as this, but like she wrote, like it started to get out of hand. So there's something called aberrant salience, which is when your brain can't really distinguish what's significant or important. It's like a perversion of interpretation. So like everything has meaning or symbolism or is, significant. Like everything could be an omen, or everything is important, or like you see a number and you're like, okay, this number is important, and just your brain holds on to things like this. And she said that's something that like that's sort of how it was. Like she had to write down everything because she like couldn't tell what was going to be important or not. And so that's something that she had to overcome. But yeah,
overcome she did.
She just got married this past year, so congrats to her. One last thing to add relevant to this topic of diaries. I had a friend, and when she graduated high school, her grandmother gave her a diary, and it was just like her grandmother had recorded things like watching her grow up, like memories or funny things or cute like times they spent together, and it was just like a little memory book. And I thought that was really sweet. Nice.
Yeah.
It was just one book, not over the top.
Yeah, people have like baby books or whatever. Right. I know.
Yeah.
When they have children, they like have memorable photos and little writings. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those I think fun. That's a very, very thoughtful thing to do.
Not recording every bowel movement.
I mean, I appreciated it, and I would like just that compiled.
It's good that they don't, he doesn't cop out on the details, because like, he really like unbiasedly.
Did he say turgid stew?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's the way it goes. What do you got?
So my next topic here, this is about a Frenchman named Henri Litier, but it's spelled Henry, so we'll call him Henry. We'll Americanize this. No disrespect. But
what is his last name?
Litier.
Henry Latier?
Yep. He was a baker in Paris in the 1930s. And his wife was very unfaithful. And she had 3 affairs in 3 months. And old Henri was desperate. He loved his wife very much and was heartbroken by this. And he didn't get mad, he didn't get violent. He got sad, and he got smart. He was a student of the medieval, you see. And so he began spending time at museums studying chastity belts. And he designed one. Took notes and designed one. He gave the sketches to a man in France that made prosthetics for veterans of World War I. And this guy made him a steel chastity belt covered in velvet. His wife agreed to this and came and was fitted for it. And she wore it. Now, I don't know the details of like when she wore it, because like the original like chastity belts were not really a thing. I mean, they might have been in some kind of like, torture thing, but they were not. They were believed to not really have been used. But the idea of them was that when men would go off to war, they would keep the key and lock the they would keep them, like, their significant others chaste, so they couldn't sleep around while they were gone. And it was supposed to be like romantic, sort of. So like when they returned from war, they, but it didn't ever happen, because you can't wear one for that long. I don't know the logistics of like even how you would use the bathroom or any of it. I don't know.
It's really romantic how you don't trust your partner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very romantic.
Yeah. And I cannot imagine. Like, I cannot imagine wearing. I don't even like to wear regular underwear. I mean, I do wear underwear, but I can't imagine having to wear like to wear steel. Yeah. So I don't know the logistics of this, but he actually put it on his wife, and she wore it. She consented to this.
But it's like a sort of thing when you're in a marriage and you feel bad because you've had affairs. You're in a weird position, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know if like maybe he just, she felt guilty and she's like, well, I'll give him this and let it happen, whatever. But she admitted that she could not stop. She could not stop cheating. And so she did this. And I really wish there was more details. There is very little on the internet about this. I really wish there was more details because I want to know, like, I think my guess is that she probably just wore it when he was away, like when he went to work or something. It's not like she wore it all the time, like when he's there. So that's just my guess. But anyways, the belt may have kept her hoo-ha secure, but it did not stop her lasciviousness. So
it had not stopped her ha-hoo.
Yeah.
Which is my actual topic. Ha-hoos. What are they? How are they?
Where
are they?
How do you stop them? Yeah. So, anyways, she wore it, met up with one of her lovers, and when he discovered what her husband had done, he reported him to the police. And Henri was brought to court in January of 1934 for charges of cruelty. His wife actually testified on his behalf, saying that she had agreed to this and found it impossible to be faithful. However, the judge ruled against Henri and gave him a 50-franc fine, which is about $107 today, and a 3-month...
I don't think that's fine.
Yeah. I like the alliteration of it, though.
50-franc fine?
Yeah. And a 3-month suspended sentence. So I had to look up what suspended sentence was, but apparently it's like when the jails are overcrowded, you can be on a suspended sentence, which means like one of two things. It means that you like just don't have to serve your time yet, but like eventually you may have to when the people are released. Or it could mean like you're basically on probation and you have to follow the court's order, and if you fail, then you'll be in prison. But he never served time, but he did have to pay his 50 francs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I cannot believe what a weird relationship. I'm sure that there are people, like that's a thing that people do, like a BDSM thing, or like, you get like locked in, and like that's fine in the moment to do something like that, and like she was consenting.
But she was
still,
in a weird position.
She was in a weird position. Like it could, yeah. But
like if it's a sexual thing and people just agree to it, that's one thing.
Right.
But if there's like a pretense of you've been having affairs, so I'm going to lock up your junk area. You're ha-hoo. You're ha-hoo. You're Mario.
Which is a kind of, I want to just like mention this briefly. I thought about this when I was like, it's a thing. Because, all right, so, I'm not throwing off on this. I'm not, not kink shaming anything, but I just want to talk for a second. People like humiliation is a thing, like public humiliation, or like I've seen pictures where people have posted on the internet of like, I was at a thing today and this woman came in leading her partner, like some guy around on like a collar and a leash, and he had like, when she was standing in line, he had like get down and like on his hands and knees and like bow to her while she was, and like that's like a thing, like humiliation and like I mean like submissive stuff, and nothing against that if that's your thing, but I I have mixed feelings about that, about like that in particular, because like your whole getting off process, or the thing that you like about it, is that it's a public thing. You're publicly humiliated, but that means that everyone around you is like I don't consent to be a part of that, which is it's tricky, because like the whole point is that it's in public. But then again, like you're putting you're bringing everybody into your sexual encounter, which is I don't think that's okay.
It's not great.
Yeah, I mean they're not like like banging in front of you. Like that's not
Yeah, it's like it's weird because it's not like it's illegal.
Right. Yeah, it's just like inconsiderate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of like inconsiderate.
Yeah, and if your kid's there and you have to explain it to your kid, you're like, well, sometimes when two people love each other very much,
there are very complex sexualities out there.
Yeah.
First, I'm gonna show you the foot fetish side of Pornhub, and then I'm gonna move along.
I have to say, so I've mentioned this before, and you know this, but I go barefoot a lot, and so I've ascribed to I think ascribe actually means like you follow the teachings of, but a barefoot Reddit for like barefooters, and when I was looking at them today, I'm gonna pull it up. There was a new pinned post from the moderators, and it says, "Hi, barefooters. There's been an upsurge in posts where it is just a picture of feet with little to no context otherwise. As much of it seems to be well liked by a section of the community here, these posts are quite irrelevant to the sub's goals. To put it bluntly, we have attracted the attention of foot fetish community, and these posts are generally posted by members of that community. There's nothing wrong with that fetish, but r/barefoot shouldn't be used used as an audience for such interests." And then like go on and talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, basically like the barefoot Reddit has been like,
foot fetishists are staging an assault on the barefoot culture.
Yeah,
it's a rough world.
It is. Yeah,
but also like it's always weird when like people will go into like Twitch chats, the game streaming platform. Chats, and they'll like try and like treat girls like they're webcam girls on porn sites or whatever. People just going places that are not porn places or sex work places, and just expecting it or delivering it in this case.
All right, two things relevant to this. One, I've seen people who like, even when they post like pictures of them on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever, they'll censor their feet. Because they don't want to be like sexualized in that manner. But the second thing, like this is a legitimate question. I'm opening this up. I really want to talk. I mean, I'm sure I could like scour the internet and like find someone, but I really want to talk to someone who has a foot fetish, because I have a couple of questions. Like logistics, like, all right. So like, okay. I had a friend in college, and her roommate is, I was going to say was, but she still is gay. And my friend did not have a problem with it. She's like, whatever. But one of their like other roommates was like, well, I feel like awkward changing in front of you or whatever. And to which my friend was like, not every like lesbian is like attracted to every woman they meet. And same thing, like not every gay guy is attracted to every guy is just like, they're not like just like look like lusting after everyone that walks by. And so I wonder, like, but there is like a context for it. So I was thinking about like the beach or water parks or places like that where people are barefoot everywhere. Like, is there like a context for it, or is that exciting, or like, I'm truly curious. Like, I'm not saying that people can't control their urges. Like, but I'm just saying, like, what is that like, or because being barefoot is such a common thing, or like people in sandals or flip-flops. Like, you know, it's yeah. So I'm very curious as to what that's like, or if there's like an unspoken like conscientiousness to like, you know, I don't know.
I don't imagine it would be too much different than just seeing an attractive person that you're like, that's
like,
hot.
Oh, that's hot.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't think. I'm not saying that like you like can't control your urges and you like immediately or like amp. You know, I'm not. You know, no. Yeah, that's not. I mean, everybody has self-discipline and yeah, but yeah, I just didn't know if there's like a like an unspoken rule or.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you
have a foot fetish and you can offer some insight into this, like, you know, let us know. We will not. I'm not judging you. Genuinely curious. And also, how did you realize that was a thing? Like, that's something else I'm curious about. Because sometimes people like have like really obscure fetishes, and like, how did you just like? Was this something that you were always like drawn to, or did it happen one time and you're like, wow, that's it, that does it? Like, you know, I'm very curious about like very obscure things like, and how like foot fetish is such a commonly like talked about thing. How did that become a thing? Like, I don't think I know anybody that has a foot fetish, or if I do, they don't, you know, they're not open about it. But like,
no, exactly.
But everybody, like, if you talk about like feet pics, like everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, there's enough people that want feet pics that.
Yeah, but I've never encountered anybody like that, and yet I know it's a thing.
I haven't personally encountered them, but I've personally seen comments on things.
But yeah, those are. But I feel like some of those are posed law. You know, it's just like they're just doing it.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
maybe not. I don't know.
Why would you? It's not that funny to just want pics of a woman's feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's not that exaggerated to just say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I don't find it very pose law because unless it's like, you know.
I just think of like trolls because most of like when I have seen those comments, it has been in Twitch chat, and I'm like, I feel like I don't know if this person is like just really treating the streamer as like a cam model thing, or if they're just trolling, you know?
Yeah, so. I think there are a lot of people that are pretty simple-minded in the sense of. They just want to do what they want.
Yeah.
And they're even like, I want to do it, so I want to do it. So True. I want to see her feet, so I'm going to ask her to show me my feet. By ask her, I'm just going to say, feet show pics. Me feet.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Well. What you got next?
Okay, so my final one. Mm-hmm. Is something you may have heard of, which is kind of why I'm going to do it now rather than like one of my big ones.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about with it. McKamey Manor. Do you know this?
No, not off the top of my head.
It is a quote-unquote haunted house.
Okay.
It's more of a horror experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know anything about this.
No, off the top of my head. Based on
what I'm telling you.
No, not so far.
It's very
no ringing bells.
Extreme horror experience.
Okay.
So you know about haunted houses, like the Halloween type of thing, where you walk through and people like jump scare you.
Yeah.
And kids get put blindfolds on and I don't know, grab grapes in a thing and get told they're eyeballs.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. Which never happened to me. I've just heard people say that enough that it probably was a thing.
Yes. Or like spaghetti and you say it's like intestines or brains or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like extreme haunted houses or experiences. There was one, I watched this documentary called Haunters, the Art of the Scare. And just basically they talked to a bunch of different people who did haunted houses or haunted experiences, horror experiences, whatever. And so one of the quotes early on in the movie, "A haunted attraction is one of the most sophisticated art forms you will ever experience."
Mm-hmm.
And this is from a creator of a haunt called Nightmare at Loganberry, which I think Loganberry is the street they were on, suburban street. "We've had at least 4 people pee. One of my favorites was a girl collapsed to the ground and asked for her mother, just repeatedly saying, 'I want my mommy, I want my mommy.' She was 17.
Wow.
So there's that. But that wasn't the extreme one.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a haunted house, I think. Like jump scares.
Right.
Thing. And there seems to be a thing where people doing the scaring, like, there's different types of people that are doing the scaring, the haunts. They're performers in the haunts, you know what I mean? Where they're dressed up in a clown mask or whatever, with a chainsaw. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those people, there are those that are scaring them to entertain themselves and entertain the person they're doing it by scaring them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them in mind. And then there are ones that are just doing it to entertain themselves. So another quote here, "You can have a really bad day in your personal life, and then you come here and just let it all out on the guests."
Catharsis.
So, but to get to McKamey Manor. So, McKamey Manor is an extreme horror experience. But there are other extreme horror experiences, like one of the documentary, I don't know what it was called, but like it was like just like a scary, there were just actors that it's kind of like a, I don't know, some escape rooms have actors in them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of like that. And one of the ones, like, you would it had like a story to it, and you would like effects that made it look like you had psychic powers. So you would like move your hand to move the door open from far away, and the door would open when you move your hand because they had the effects to do that.
Right.
That type of thing that I thought is pretty neat, but also it gets scary.
Yeah.
So there's that, but McKamey Manor is an extreme horror experience, and what it basically is you get physically and emotionally tortured.
Ooh.
So
like specifics?
Yeah, I've got specifics.
Okay.
I watched this video on YouTube from Gabs was the YouTube channel, and after 5 years made this video explaining her experiences to a friend who was also there in the video. Not also there at the time, but in this video, the friend's interviewing her. So she feels that hers was the first one of McKamey Manor's, like, to get the next level of fucked up. She thought she was going into like an extreme haunted house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a more scary version of the haunted house trope. But she was excited about this. She saw like video promoting it. She was told in advance in Facebook messages by Russ McKamey, who is the guy, main guy, told her the whole thing would be live streamed to a place in Vegas where people watching would pay to make certain things happen to her.
Ooh. It's kind of a cool idea setup. Like,
could be.
I mean, I definitely see potential where it goes bad, but
And if you want out of the tour, quote unquote, you get one opportunity an hour in.
Ooh.
And if you say no to that opportunity, that's it. There's no leaving the experience unless they want you to leave.
Okay. So you're at their mercy. You could ask for it and maybe they would say yes, but they don't have to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. So you sign a waiver before you do it.
Right.
And the waiver at the time that she did it 5 years ago, ish, 2014, was not like atypical of any sort of vaguely dangerous thing you're signing a waiver for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
taking, I don't know, going parachuting or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. It wasn't very different from that. There was a 40-page waiver that was leaked online. That was not the waiver that she signed. That just has like, we can pull out your teeth. We can cut off your hair. We can put nails in you. Whatever. That was leaked online, and she believes that particular waiver might have been a fake one that he posted online to stir up controversy and interest.
Yeah.
But it's not that they would never do anything like that.
Uh-huh.
But her tour goes like this. She's blindfolded, thrown in the back of a van. With her partner at the time. Mm-hmm. Got to the destination. She was stepping out of the van and was immediately pushed down onto the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moment she felt that it got real. It was like unnecessary aggression.
Yeah.
Type thing. So she's blindfolded. Mm-hmm. And she's, after an hour of the tour, which at this point she was chained in a deep freezer in the dark and got her hand slammed into the door.
Oh.
She gets let out and asked if she wants to leave, her one opportunity. She said no because she felt like, well, they did let me out in this particular situation.
Right.
It wasn't like a never-ending horrible thing. They did say...
Yeah, is there like a timetable on this? Like they can just have her
Not
forever?
Not really. There's previous timetables are like 6 hours.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
It is a haunted house attraction, whatever. But Russ McKamey was incredibly overjoyed and satisfied that he had given her kind of a panic attack by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Later, she was in a straitjacket, had chains around her neck, was in water in a container where she was barely able to reach her nose to the surface to breathe. She was there for 7 hours.
Oh. I don't want to be anywhere for 7 hours.
Yeah, that's why you like to be driven around while you sleep, right?
Right, yeah. Just minimize the time that I'm anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in bed for 7 hours. I don't want to be anywhere. Can't be stationary. People are out to get me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I live a dangerous life. I run in some pretty wild circles.
I don't want to be associated with you anymore.
Too late. They know who you are.
Fuck. I was tortured and pushed around for 6 hours, she said. 7 hours is kind of like the lead up when she was waiting for them on the bleachers or whatever before they got the van to her, etc.
Yeah.
And the video... So, this is all filmed.
Oh. Right. For the place in Vegas, right?
For the place in Vegas, but also for YouTube.
Oh.
So it's filmed and heavily edited down to like an hour.
Right.
And hers was titled Non-Extreme Boo Haunt.
Non-extreme?
And, yeah.
This is the not extreme version?
Yeah, she said it was not representative at all of her experience, that video.
Oh, okay.
But it's still, if you watch that video, you'd be like, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
Because they weren't doing anything that was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just more stuff. During the tour, she was forced to eat gross food and told if she was to throw it up, she would have to eat it.
What constitutes as gross food?
She didn't really get into it.
Oh, okay.
I watched the video of her talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But right after that, Russ McKamey was nice and gave her pizza, which she thought was weird. Like right after she was forced to eat gross food or whatever.
Right.
And then he was acting nice to her and giving her pizza. She thought that was the end.
Yeah.
But then right after that, boom, more hardcore, aggressive torture.
Mm-hmm.
She said that everyone's experience is very different, as it was personalized, and the tour got more and more extreme after hers. So people knew in like interviews, like messages beforehand, you tell them what you're scared of.
Okay.
In her case, it was spiders. She had a spider on her face, I believe.
Right. This is very disturbing.
So, right after she felt that it only got more extreme after her tour. Right after her tour, the next tours, people were leaving with like broken bones and broken noses.
Jeez.
She was doing the tour with her partner, I mentioned.
Yeah.
And Russ McKamey would ask her partner if he should do a specific horrible thing to her, Gabs, or her partner. And her partner would choose Gabs. So, the person that was telling the story in the video. Mm-hmm. And Russ kept asking her partner this, who kept choosing to give the tortures or whatever to Gabs rather than herself.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked that, and he never asked Gabs the same question of her partner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was naive, in her words, and loved horror. And she said it took her years to process it and realized how fucked up it all was. After her tour, though, she was an admin on the McKamey Manor Facebook page.
What?
Quote, I didn't understand that this was not a haunted house. This was Russ's way of having power.
Yeah, this is like a BDSM, like barely consensual BDSM dungeon.
Yeah, without the...
like extreme.
I don't know.
There's no safe word. Or...
without any obvious sexuality.
Right, yeah. It's like, just purely like power and yeah.
Because even like BDSM has, like that fetish club in Double Team, the Dennis Rodman film. Yeah. There was people with sexy outfits all the way there.
Right.
Or like at least sexy in that world, you know what I mean?
This is just a guy who wants to be like a murderer but doesn't have the balls for it. And he's just like skirting or he's a genius and he's skirting the law and satisfying all his sadomasochistic...
Well, I think that's definitely part of it.
Yeah.
He would message her to monitor the YouTube channel, the McKamey Manor YouTube channel, and delete all negative comments.
Yeah.
And defend him in Facebook comments sections. And he would message her about this every day when she was the admin of the Facebook group. But yeah, were you going to say something?
No, I'm still processing this.
So she believes he's like incredibly manipulative.
Yeah.
And he's got, and And he would be having a ton of people defending his honor online.
Right.
Through manipulation. And this is another quote. It became a cult aspect, like McKamey Manor versus anyone that wasn't a part of it. And it was like, and that was like everybody.
Yeah.
Her partner realized it wasn't okay. And she felt that nobody speaks out about it because he would send a ton of people to harass you online if you spoke out about McKamey Manor. He films the entire tour for everyone, which in her case was 6 to 7 hours. And she believes that somewhere that video is floating around, maybe on the dark web.
Yeah.
And this is her quote, similar to something you said. He found a legal way to make a living acting out his sick, twisted fantasies.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's her tale. Right?
Yeah.
So here's a. I'm sorry to just keep talking.
No, I need more information. I need an update on this place.
Yeah.
Like, did a SWAT team raid this place yet, or?
No, I don't think that happened now. So yeah. He tricked his neighbor into going into it. Like she went into it once, and then somehow he manipulated her into going into it 2 more times, even though she thought it was a horrible experience every time.
All right, yeah. Okay.
He said, I tricked Grace, which is his neighbor, into going through it 3 times. I'll do or say pretty much anything to get that footage. If I wasn't filming it, I don't think I would be doing it because I want the world to see what I'm doing.
Has someone murdered this man yet?
I don't believe so. So yeah, there's no safe word.
Yeah.
In this thing. And his wife said
he's married?
Yeah. He's married.
Oh my.
People find him likable.
Other serial killers?
Yeah. No, like interpersonally,
I mean, I guess you have to be charismatic to pull something like this off.
Yeah. His wife said, I think that if they had a safe word here, they would use it right away, because I don't think that they realize what they've gotten themselves into.
Well, I mean, they got an hour in and then still chose not to, so I don't think they'd use it right away.
Yeah. So, the guests, this is a quote from Russ McKamey again. The guests are the actors. I'm trying to get the shot I want. I'm trying to get the angle I want.
He's such a nerd.
Yeah. And he's explaining the situation to newer haunters, like the other people involved in McKamey Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, doing the haunts,
right.
Quote unquote haunts. If they throw up, what are you going to do? You're going to pick up their throw it up and put it back in their face. Some of the people / actors they were using were like 16-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
And the documentarian of this documentary, Haunters, The Art of the Scare, asked Russ McKamey, would you go through your own haunt? And Russ said, of course not, because I have common sense.
Oh. We need to make him go through it. AKA, we just need to torture this man.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I just don't. You just need a court order get him to stop doing.
Does this place still exist?
It is not. I don't know if it. I don't think it actively exists right now. Also, a thing to note is he didn't charge like the people that were going into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't charge them to enter his quote unquote haunt. You know what I mean?
Right.
He asked them to bring a can of dog food that he would donate to a pit bull rescue or some shit.
That makes everything better. All right, I forgive this guy.
Yeah. But basically, he makes money on like YouTube and shit.
Yeah.
So.
And for whatever people that are willing to buy this footage of people like actually being tortured.
Yeah. There's no confirmation on whether the Las Vegas thing actually, the live stream to Las Vegas actually exists, or whether it's just like a thing to be scary. But you know, based on hearing what you heard,
psychological aspect,
it's not like that hard to believe.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, you know, it's just kind of a thing where it's just like, I understand wanting to do an extreme horror experience thing, but it's just, it feels like the creator in this case just does not care about your well-being.
Yeah.
When you go through it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, that's really unethical.
Yeah.
And some people even after hearing that are like, oh God, that means it's like realer. That means it's more horrific, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's not good.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know it's kind of a downer, but I just thought it's super weird.
That is super interesting. Yeah, no, that's it's definitely horrifying, but I'm trying to think about like, because on one hand, like I've been through some haunted houses and like haunted maze stuff, you know, or like you get dropped off in the woods and you have to like walk out and there's people out, like actors in the woods and stuff that like chase you and all this stuff. And like,
yeah,
there is an aspect of it where like because you like the whole time, like I can't watch horror movies because to me it's not realistic. Like the decisions that people make, like this would you know what, if I was ever like, I can't watch that because I can't put myself in the shoes of the protagonist. I'm like, I would never act this way in the situation. Yeah. And so when I always think about realism, or like when I'm in the haunted, like I don't do them anymore because they're not fun, because like I know they can't touch me. Like, I mean, there are some that like you sign a waiver and they can touch you, but still nothing like this. And so like to me, like it's just like, I mean, there's like a jump scare, but there's nothing really like when the person's like chasing me, screaming and stuff. Like it's not like I can't quite get into it because I know like I paid for this and they can't touch me. So it doesn't have its full benefits.
You want in on this McKamey Manor.
However, no. You would think. No, but like I think so. A very tiny part of me understands where someone might sign up to participate in something like this because they're not getting the scare that they want, or they're not getting thrilled the way they want. And they think that this is what they want.
It at this point has become a thing where a decent amount of people going to do this are going into it having seen, you know, some of these like hour-long videos, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, they're not completely representative,
right? They're
of
doctored
how horrible
or
it is.
bad stuff. Yeah.
But it's still pretty fucked,
right?
When you watch these.
Yeah.
I haven't like I've just watched the footage that was in the documentary. Really.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fucked. So they see that and they're like, I want to see if I can survive McKamey Manor. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like they want to push themselves.
Yeah.
Through a thing. But even so, it's just unethical.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I if if people going into this had full knowledge and awareness of like what happens, real, like they're like, hey, last time, like so far we've had this many people break bones, or like, sorry, we've broken this many people's bones, not like it was an accident, like we did this, or like this, you know, there's like near death experiences, or like we drown you, or like waterboard you, all this stuff, and like had footage of it, like this is, and people could be fully informed. But I don't think people I don't think people are fully informed, and unless they, I don't know, I like that's the only way that I would think.
There's a difference between being informed and experienced.
Right? Yeah. I definitely think people should be able to like get more than one out, but I understand that like that, you know,
there should be a safe word.
Yeah, definitely.
Period.
Yeah, you should be able to leave whenever you want. What scares me though is, so we know there's scientific proof, and we've talked about like the third wave thing, and like you know, Stanford prison experiment. People in power, like especially in a situation like this, it's very easy for them to lose sight of reality, and it sounds like he's someone who has a tenuous grasp on it anyways, and like pretty dark desires. And so my fear is that even if people are fully informed, that eventually he's going to go too, I mean, I think he already has gone too far, but I think like someone's going to get seriously hurt or killed, and he's going to, like, it's going to, because I think it's just like, you know, it's not going to be enough one day for him. And yeah. So I you know, I get where people think like, oh, I need something like this because I want it to feel real, but you don't know what you're asking for. Also, there's a difference between like being, this is like, there's these people are leaving traumatized. Like this is something they're going to carry for the rest of their lives. Like maybe not every person, maybe some people are able to adjust better than others, but like for the majority of people, this is not, this is a judgment call on my behalf, but I think people who are willingly putting themselves into these situations might have some self-destructive tendencies, or might be a little reckless, and maybe are a little, you know, maybe they're a little bit more vulnerable to the trauma that's awaiting them. And
maybe,
you know, I believe in like people being able to pilot their own lives and make their own decisions and have full agency, but I also think like somebody's got to protect these people because they don't know what they're getting into, which is a tricky line. Yeah, that's a balancing act, like, you know.
Another thing I was going to mention is a part of the documentary is they interviewed a couple of people that went through McKamey Manor.
Yeah.
And these two dudes expressed that it was like just a horrible experience.
Yeah.
But it made them want to do that to other people.
Yeah, that's the thing about like trauma. A lot of people that experience some type of horror or abuse, it's very common for them to go on to be perpetrators of that same abuse. Yeah, and which like, I mean, that's just like, yeah, I don't know if that's like a rationalization of the brain or like trying to. Well, here's what I heard. Here, people, there's people. I don't know if it's psychoanalytic or psychodynamic. Which one of the psychological theories suggests that people like, okay, for example, people that are in a child that is abused by a parent might, not everybody, but they might go on to find a spouse that's also abusive, and or have like, or, you know, chronically date abusers. And the theory behind that, like I said, I don't know if it's the psychodynamic or psychoanalytic perspectives that suggest this, but the theory behind that is that they put themselves in the same situation because they're on some level hoping for a different outcome. They're trying to relive the very first experience, but have a different outcome. And so it's, yeah, I don't know, maybe people like go into this or perpetrate those things, you know, thinking like it'll be different this time or what. But especially if the people that they're doing, like getting as actors being like young teenagers and stuff, which that does not seem legal at all. Like they're becoming, they're gonna be traumatized from doing things like this, or go on to, this be part of their personality.
Yeah,
they don't.
Or
they're
at least
being manipulated,
desensitized.
Exactly.
Doing it.
Yeah.
To doing things like it.
Yeah. This is pretty horrific. It's crazy that this is a thing. This is is really like a movie, like a horror movie.
It actually
like a dystopian.
Several actual movies that are like basically this, but also then murder happens.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, this was a big story a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't believe I hadn't heard of this.
Yeah, I mean, some stuff passes you by, whatever. But actually, I'm thinking this has been a pretty decent length for an episode right now. Do you want to save your last one, or do you want to do it right now?
It's pretty quick. I can get through it as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I just because I know that was my long one, so I didn't know if you had another longer one.
It's not that long, but it's a little. It's I can keep it short. So, coming full circle to cats. In the 13th century. Well, let me back up a little bit. So, the superstition about cats being evil, or black cats in particular, the generally accepted perspective on this, or like the explanation for this, is that ancient Egyptians worshipped cats, or revered cats, and had gods that are represented in cats as cats, and then there are a lot of pagan religions that honor cats or revere cats. And so as Christianity spread, these symbols were then portrayed as being evil and unlucky. Sort of like how a lot of Christian holidays fall on pagan holidays because they're trying to Christianize those things and overshadow them. So in the 13th century, Pope Gregory IX, who was pope from 1227 to 1241, thought that cats carry the spirit of Satan with them. And so this was sort of one article, or one source phrased it as this was sort of the final nail in the coffin for cats. This is where this really kind of solidified the vilification of cats. So when Pope Gregory IX declared that cats were agents of Satan, he also declared a war on them. So good old Greg decided they were evil and demanded that they be killed, or encouraged people to kill them. So there was a cat genocide across Europe during his reigning years. And this happened again in the 1400s when witch hunts came back into fashion, because cats were obviously familiars for witches. And the Pope at the time there declared that cats be excommunicated.
I was just thinking, hey, are you not affected by people being tortured? What about animals getting killed indiscriminately?
Well, they're we're torturing people there too, They're torturing the so-called witches. And so this podcast, this episode took a real dark turn.
For some reason we kept all the darkness.
We're let's start with I married my mugger, and then we'll end with human torture and killing animals.
A guy wrote down about his poops a lot.
So in the 1400s, the Pope then, I don't know who was Pope at the time here. He declared that cats should be excommunicated, which is hilarious. My dog just sneezed. Bless you, Layla. If you don't know what excommunication is, it's when you're forbidden from partaking of the sacrament, so you can no longer do communion, which is in Catholicism, like directly related to your salvation. Mm-hmm. So it's a big deal if people are excommunicated. This kind of implies that cats were taking communion before this happened. If they were then excommunicated.
Yeah.
Like you had to be communicated first, right?
I've really been waiting for the next pope to be a cat.
Oh yeah. It's if Kanye wins, then the next pope will definitely be a cat. Sure. 2020, the year of endless possibilities. But
cat pope.
Let's
do it.
I would get my vote.
Cat pope.
I'd get my vote. Yeah. So back to the first wave of cat genocide. So as I said, this happened in the mid 1200s. The cat population was severely reduced and mostly wiped out in a lot of Europe. So it's not a stretch to say that in the following years, this was a major contribution to the plague, the Black Plague, spreading throughout Europe, because the plague was carried by flea-infested rats.
And there were
the natural prey of the cat. So this pope was like, "Hey, cats are evil. Let's kill them all." And then, like 2/3 of Europe died. As a result of this.
He misspelled rats. That was the issue.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be rats are evil. We should kill them all. And instead people were like, what, cats? And then, so you can all thank Pope Gregory the Ninth for almost wiping out the human civilization in Europe.
God damn it, Pope Greg.
Good old Greg.
You'll never be as good as Cat Pope.
So this particular story. So we just had your story of human torture for pleasure. Then my story was cats are being killed, then humans are being tortured, and then more cats are being killed, and then hundreds of thousands of people die. So I think we've ended it on a good note, I think it's a good place to call it.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's just
remind everybody about plagues.
Right.
They might have forgotten for a moment.
Yeah. If you have forgotten that,
let's just bring that up to the top of mind.
If you have somehow forgotten that the world had plagues, or that's a thing, and that people died, and also, I just want to say real quick, the Black Plague, one of the deadliest plagues and most contagious plagues to visit the earth, was made extinct by quarantine. In case you forgot that, I want everybody to know that quarantine demolished the Black Plague. So there's historical precedence for quarantining working. Just throwing that out there. Not, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that was a thing.
Yeah.
So, in case you're wondering,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just, I don't know, consider other human beings for once in your miserable
right.
life. Anyway.
Exactly. It's not all about you. If you feel like during this last section here that your toes have been stepped on, good. I'm trying to break your toes.
To get you from being in front of other people.
So you cannot walk outside, and you have to stay inside now. And that'll about do it for this week's episode.
We no polls on this one. This is more of a skirmish type thing where we're not voting on it, whatever. But
the only what you can do to contribute to this section is stay inside, and also if you or someone has a foot fetish, I really would like to reach out just to find just to ask some questions and some logistics and kind of just no judgment or anything, not making fun of you, but just really genuinely curious, have intellectual curiosity about this.
So the first people we specifically call out to get into contact with us is foot fetishists.
Yeah. And then after that, you know, if you have something to add, then you can email us. But
after that, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get
Theory.
To it.
Who knows?
Hey, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, take a trip to Flavortown. So
yeah,
we will go ahead and see you on the next one, everybody.